Hi everyone, Nicholas here. In today's Portuguese lesson, I'm going to tell you the difference between grandma and grandpa in Portuguese. Um, up here, I've did this lesson before, and I was thinking, why not I should teach this lesson for you to know how or what's the difference between it and what is the accents that we use for this. But before, if you are enjoying this video, make sure y'all like this video, subscribe to my channel for more Portuguese, and yeah, let's start. So, I was teaching y'all this word right here, vovó, vovó. So if you look right here, after the V right here, there is no accent after that. But right here, on this O, there's an accent. This accent is the one that goes on top of the vowels. It's called acento agudo. So, for example, I'm going to give you some examples here on what that accent does in Portuguese. So, in Portuguese, when you pronounce this accent right here, or when you see this accent, it's usually an open sound and it also wide sound as well. So, like when you pronounce this one, in this case right here, you're saying ah, like it's a more wide and open sound because of the accent right there. So grandma in Portuguese, vá, vá. Vá, vá. Or you could say avó. So you spell this A V O. And that's the accent right there. That's also at the end right there. If you look right here, and it's the same accent. You pronounce it open. You pronounce it like the accent wide. Just so you know as well, every accent's in Portuguese. If you remember that I taught you that in person, for those who are in person. But anyways, all the accents, they are always on top of the vowels, except for the cedilha C. But that's called a cedilha. That's not called accent. That's only called a cedilha because it's underneath a consonant in Portuguese. And it does not start on the beginning of a phrase or a word in Portuguese. And there are a few letters that doesn't follow with it. I think it's CL, CR, and a few other ones as well. But there are also letters that follow with that cedilha C. But anyways, back to the lesson here. So that is what is the first one right here. So the second one, grandpa in Portuguese. So this next accent right here, if you look down here on grandpa, it's a strong, and this accent is called acento circunflexo, because this accent right there that you see right here, and it's also a closed vowel sound when you see that accent right there. So here's how you say it. There's two ways you could say grandpa in Portuguese. You could say avô, avô, or you could say vovô, vovô. This one also at the end has an accent. So if you realize those two right here that I put up at the board here, both of them have accents at the end because that's how you say them in Portuguese. So that's why there's an accent of vovô and vovó in Portuguese. One is a more open sound, which is vovó up here, because you're pronouncing, like when you say the word O with an accent, you're saying ah. Any vowel, but just the O, I should say. Like, is this for me to teach you on a word, you're pronouncing it ah, because it's a more open and wide sound. Now, if you look over here, grandpa in Portuguese, on the other hand, vovô, It's a closed sound that has a party hat on top of the second O, because it's not the first O. Both of them are not the first O that doesn't have an accent, because it doesn't have a closed or an open version of that O to be pronounced. So accents in Portuguese, I'm going to make a separate video talking about accents, but accents in Portuguese help the letter be open, closed. The letters helps the letter be more stronger, helps the letter pronounce differently. There's going to be one that's going to have a tilt, but that's why there are accents in Portuguese. It's because it makes the vowels sound more stronger or more open or more closed. You know what I mean? So that's why there are accents in Portuguese. Recap. So, grammar in Portuguese. 2 ways to say this in Portuguese. Avó, avó. Or you could say vovó. Vovó. That means grandma. And remember, that's the more wide and open sound. Ah. At the end right here. Not at the first one. Grandpa in Portuguese. Avô. Avô. It's a more closed sound at the end right there. Or you could say vovô. Vovô. So both of those only have accents at the end of, like at the vowel, the last vowel there. That's the difference between grandpa and grandma. If you want to shout out, all you have to do is actually do 2 things. 1, comment down below if you want to shout out, either for your class, but if you don't want any names of your class, I won't do that. I'm just going to say the school, or I guess just, or the names of the teachers, if that's good with them. And yeah, that's how you say this in Portuguese. Hopefully you all enjoyed today's video. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed today's lesson, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.